Hi everyone, Miss Barber here with lesson 9.2 in geometry. We're going to be talking about area and circumference formulas for circles and also regular polygons. So more area adding on to what you learned in 9.1. So first let's talk about circles and the two different things I could ask you to find. The first is circumference, and circumference represents the distance around the circle. So this would be the circumference, the length all the way around. And there's two formulas depending on what you're given. If you're given the diameter, then the circumference is just pi times diameter. So diameter is the distance all the way across. If instead you're only given the radius, which is from half the diameter, it's just from the center to the outside of the circle, then you would use 2 pi r. That's because 2 times the radius equals the diameter, so let's write that down. So 2 times the radius would equal the diameter, or the diameter divided by 2 equals the radius, depending on how you want to think about it. For area, there's only a formula for radius. So the area represents the shaded region, the whole space inside the circle, and you need to know the radius. Meaning, if you're given the diameter, you're going to have to use this formula to the left here and divide by 2 to find the radius. And the area formula for a circle is pi r squared, so pi times the radius squared. So we'll use both of these formulas today to answer the following questions. Example 1, find the circumference of circle B. Well, this is the diameter, they labeled it as D, so I'm going to use pi times diameter for my circumference formula. I'm not going to use the radius one because that's not what I was given. Substituting in, I have pi times 6 over pi. Well, pi times 6 over pi, the pi's are going to simplify, so the circumference will just be 6 centimeters. For number 2, I want to find the area. This is the radius, and I'm good because the area formula is pi times radius squared. So in this case, it's going to be pi times 5 squared. It asked me to keep my answers in terms of pi. That means you don't need a calculator really because you don't have to multiply pi in your answer. So if you are using a calculator, you would not put pi in, you would just put the 5 squared in. Well, 5 squared is 25. So my answer will just be 25 pi, and this is area, so it's going to be meters squared. Number 3, it wants me to find the area, again, in terms of pi. This time, however, we were given the diameter, not the radius. So in order to find the radius, I first have to take my diameter and divide by 2. So if my diameter is 22, my radius will be 11. And so now I'm going to say area equals pi times 11 squared, which in this case is 121 pi feet squared because it's area. Number 4 asks me for the circumference in terms of pi. They told me the radius is 10. So I'm going to use the circumference formula that involves radius, which is 2 pi r. So I'm going to do 2 times pi times 10. 2 times 10 is 20, so it's going to be 20 pi inches squared. Oop, not inches squared, my bad. Common mistake that you shouldn't make. It's just inches because this is circumference, the distance around the outside. So it's the length all the way around here. Number 5, find the circumference, which the area is 49 pi. Well, I know area is pi r squared, so this is kind of a two-step process. I know my area is 49 pi, so I can find out what r is from my area formula. I first can divide both sides by pi, so then I'm left with 49 equals r squared. Then I square root both sides. The square root of 49 is 7. So r, my radius, is 7. So now to find circumference, I'm going to say circumference is 2 pi r, because I know my r is 7. So circumference is 2 times pi times 7, which in this case is 14 pi inches. If you want to know what that is in your calculator, you could obviously do 14 times pi, but we don't need to. Number 6, it wants me to find the radius in which a circle Y where the circumference is 18 pi. Well, if I want to know the radius, then I should be using 2 pi r for the formula. Substituting in 18 pi for circumference, I get 18 pi equals 2 pi r. To get r by itself, I should divide both sides by 2 pi. So on the left, right, it simplifies to r. 18 pi divided by 2 pi is just 9. So 9 centimeters would be my radius. So those are questions related to area and circumference of circles. The next part of the lesson has to do with regular polygons. So regular polygons is a convex polygon where all sides and angles are congruent. You name a polygon by its vertices. So I didn't give you enough. M, N, we should probably keep going. M, N, O, I can't use P because that's there, and I can't use Q, R, S, T. So you could name this. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a hexagon, and you would name it M, N, O, R, S, T. The center of the polygon is the same thing as like the center of a circle. It's going to be in the middle. And in this case, it's just going to be point P. The radius, which you don't really need to know too much, but the radius is from the center to the vertex. So it goes from center to vertex of the polygon. So in this case, PM and PN would be examples of a radius. We don't need the radius in order to find the area of a polygon. What we do need to know is the apothem. So this is the important word. That's the new word. The apothem is the distance from the center to any side. So whenever we're talking about distance, we're talking about a right angle. So the apothem is from center to right angle. And that's the one we care about because that's part of my area formula. So the apothem in this case would be PQ. And again, that's what we're going to use in our area formula. So here's the area of a regular polygon formula. It's either 1/2 times apothem times perimeter, or because perimeter is the number of sides times the side length, you could replace P with NS and you still have the 1/2 times apothem. Again, another way you can think about it is apothem times perimeter divided by 2. Multiplying by 1/2 and dividing by 2 is the same. So for each of these, what I like to do first is find the perimeter, and then from there, find the area. So for example 2, I'm looking here. To find the perimeter, I need to know a side length, which is 12, and I need to know how many sides there are. Well, in this case, there are 8 sides, each which have a side length of 12. So 8 times 12 will tell me my perimeter. Well, 8 times 12 is 96. So my area, my perimeter, my apologies, would be 96 meters. So to find the area now, it's 1/2 apothem. Well, my apothem is 14.5. It's from the center to a right angle. So it's going to be 14.5 times my perimeter, which is 96, all divided by 2. 14.5 times 96 divided by 2 is 696 meters squared. And that's all you do. So for number 8, my side length is 7.5, and this is a pentagon because there's 5 sides. So 5 times 7.5 will tell me what my perimeter is. So 5 times 7.5 is 37.5. So that's my perimeter. So my area is 1/2, or apothem, which is 5.1. Here's my apothem, times my perimeter, which is 37.5, divided by 2. Rounding to the nearest 3 decimals in this case is fine, that's all it is. 95.625. There were no units here, so I can just leave it, but no, it would be units squared for the area. Last one, this is a regular triangle. And so what we're going to use is not the triangle formula because this time we were given a side and the apothem. So we'll still find it using 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Well, the perimeter is going to be 8 times 3, which is 24. There are 3 sides, all that are 8. So then the area is going to be 4 root 3 over 3 times 24 all over 2. So I'm not going to put the root 3 in my calculator because I don't want to have a decimal answer, but 4 divided by 3 times 24 is 32. So I can write 32 root 3 over 2, and 32 divided by 2, that's 16. So 16 root 3, again, they didn't give me units, so units squared would be the area of that regular polygon. So that's it for area of regular polygons, circles, and other quadrilaterals and triangles that we know. We're going to take this and apply it later to irregular polygons and different compound figures or composite figures.